we had to do something. We were more or less the outcasts of the Ivy Leagues and whoever that they chose. So we had some great athletic directors, you know, Bill Flynn and Cohen and the other ones in the different schools. And what they did, they thought they could start a league. And as it worked out, it came out great.
Well, I recall going to an ECAC meeting, and there was a conversation from several athletic directors from different schools about reducing the schedule and starting to minimize the number of players on rosters. And I get very concerned. Being an athletic director of Providence, and certainly with the program we had there, and also the other programs in the East, several of us got together, in particular Boston University, Northeastern, New Hampshire, Boston College, and ourselves at Providence, and we came up with a thought of if this is the trend of the ECAC, what could we do to proact rather than react and wait until something happens? And that's when the formation of Hockey East came about.
The beginning was a shock that we were getting split up from the ECAC, and then the enthusiasm of forming a new league, and quickly getting us aligned with the WCHA so that we would have not only our league games in the East count, but also any games we played against the WCHA games count. And that was, I think, a real coup by Lou Lamoriello, the new commissioner at the time, the AD of Providence and former hockey coach there, to really establish our league right off the bat as a league that would be great competition. Not only do you have the teams we have in the league now, but you also have the Minnesotas and the Wisconsins and the Michigan Techs, et cetera, and the other league that we played every year too, you know, at least twice, so it was quite a league.
I think Hockey East awoke all of us up at UNH to what we need to do to be competitive as a modern Division I program. And that's what I think the league has brought to our athletic department and to me personally, is kind of took us away from the traditional or almost to a point where we assumed we were always going to be a great Division I program, to reality and saying there's a lot of work to be a real good Division I program, and you've got to constantly be on top of it. You can never forget how you got to where you got.
Scott Harlow has a goal already tonight. Centers it for Brown. He scores! Back for Robitaille. 10 seconds to go on the two-man advantage. Ingraham in front. Wise Rob! Cullen inside the line to Donatelli right out front. He scored!
Whether a league is successful or not ultimately hinges on its players. And since the very beginning, Hockey East has been graced with some of the finest players in all of college hockey.
As Lowney breaking for the net. Cullen couldn't get it through to Lowney. Nice defensive play by the Black Bears. Cullen scores! The puck came right back to John Cullen. He got off the quick shot. It's Brian Leach. A goal and an assist for Leach. Here he comes into the circle. Shot, score! Brian Leach gives the Eagles the lead 6-5 with 8:28 to play in the third period.
The Hobey Baker Award recognizes the most outstanding player in college hockey. In the last 9 years, Hockey East has had 23 finalists and the last 3 winners. The first went to David Emma of BC in 1991.
Crowley for Boston College, out now to Marty McGinnis. McGinnis for Emma. Here comes Emma down the left side. Emma's in. He scores! David Emma!
Scott Pellerin of Maine in 92.
Al Ingraham, long pass. Here's Pellerin on a breakaway. Pellerin is in. He scores! Hockey East Player of the Year, Scott Pellerin.
And last year, freshman sensation Paul Correa of Maine, who helped the Black Bears win their first ever national championship.
Here's Montgomery with the pass. Now Correa gets it. Correa with the pass back to Montgomery. Now Montgomery's going to dish it back again. Unselfish. Now Correa can't convert this one. Gets on his knees. Throws it up in front to Himes. Open net play. Unbelievable.
We had such an unbelievable offensive team last year. It was probably the funnest year I've ever had, just because we had so many guys who could think out there and put the puck in the net. And you know, every line that we put out there had the skill and the smarts to score at any second. You know, I learned a lot just from playing with the talent that we had last year.
Paul Kariya holds 2 main single-season records in assists and points. He was also the Hockey East Rookie and Player of the Year. The only other freshman to do so was Brian Leach of BC in '86-'87. David Emma also left his mark on his alma mater, as he is BC's all-time leading scorer. Maine's Scott Bellerin ranks 3rd or higher on all 5 UMaine career leader lists. Another great player is Jim Montgomery, who tops Maine's all-time assist, point, and shorthanded goal category, while teammate Jean-Yves Roy leads in goals scored. For BU, there is 3-time MVP John Cullen, who holds 3 career scoring records and was an '87 Hobey Baker finalist. UMass Lowell's John Morris knocked a record-high 37 power play goals in his career. And let's not forget blue liner Rob Cowie, who tallied 46 goals and is still top dog in Northeastern's book. Along with all these great goal scorers, there have also been some pretty fair goaltenders.
Just played the puck. It's taken away by the Terriers. Gerlitz for LaBrosse. Great save by Terreri. Rebound. McGregor couldn't get his stick on him.
Providence College's Chris Terreri, who made 1,418 saves in the '84-'85 campaign.
Scott Young, the freshman, with a breakaway. In on Racine. Young. Glove save and a beauty by Racine.
Northeastern's Bruce Racine played over 7,500 minutes in his tenure and holds 4 other Husky records.
Here's Tony Amati, but it's stopped by Snow.
Back breaks Kenny. 2-on-1. Here comes Kenny. Stopped by Dunham. And another stop by Dunham. Did you see that?
And the unbeatable Maine combination of Garth Snow and Mike Dunham. In the '92-'93 season, the two combined for 42 wins. Although Dunham isn't far behind, Snow holds 9 Maine records and shares 2 with former Black Bear goalie Scott King. Yep, Hockey East has always had great players. A look at professional hockey shows that the conference is strongly represented, both in the minors and in the NHL, including some of the league's best and brightest.
New York Rangers, Brian Leach.
Right on the right side, it is Brown, 3-on-1 with Stevens. Stevens scores. The first shot on net. On a 2-on-1 break, Brown to Stevens. And the BC combination makes it 1-0 Pittsburgh.
It's a league that I don't think can be compared to any other league. All the teams are close. All the teams have some great players on each team, and the competitiveness is high. You need to cope with that when you come into the league. You know, everybody's going to play every night, and it's going to be a hard-fought game, and that's what you expect when you go to the pros.
You can only, most times, be only as good as your competition, and if you're playing against better guys, that's going to make you that much better. And I thought it was the best college league in the country when I was there, and it's still, you know, one of the premier leagues now.
The biggest problem with so much talent is holding on to it. Players like Craig Janney, Keith Kachuk, Scott LeGrand, and Tony Amante are among those that are so good they joined the NHL before they were through with college, but not without some regrets.
At first, no, but then halfway through the season, pro season, 40 games is like, you know, you think, oh, God, I played 40 games in college total, and now we're halfway done 40 games my first year. So it's, yeah, I wish I could have been back there, but, you know, it was for the best, and I think everything worked out great for me.
Well, you know, I was looking forward to playing for Steve Cedorchuk at BC. You know, it would have been his first year, my senior year, but, you know, it was just a great opportunity presented to me by the Flyers. You know, contractually, it was a good situation, and as far as getting the chance to play, it was a good situation. And, you know, I had the support of my school. Coach Cedorchuk basically sat me down and told me that the time was right for me to leave, and it was, and it's worked out well for me so far.
Along with success in the pros, Hockey East has also been a major contributor to the last few Canadian and American Olympic teams. In the last 2 Winter Olympics, over 20 players represented Hockey East, 9 just recently. The list of great players goes on and on. Joe Mullen, Sean McEachern, Rob Gaudreau, Jeff Lazaro, today's bright prospects, and so many more. But often overshadowed by the players are the men behind them, the coaches. Hockey East has a rich tradition with some of the greatest coaches in the history of college sport. No matter how talented a player is, how he's coached will ultimately determine just how much of his potential will be realized. And the same goes for teams. A good coach can make all the difference. Former BC coach Len Siglarski proved that throughout his 34-year career, retiring as the winningest coach in college hockey history. His secret? Simple. He loved his job.
Oh, Gary, I've been so happy. You know, I've been so lucky, I should say, that I've had so many happy years in coaching. We've had losing seasons, but I always try to coach one game at a time, 1 year at a time, and one team at a time. And you know, you've had your disappointments, and then you get up the next morning and come to work. And I don't think in all the years that I coached, I never wanted to, not once did I ever not want to come to work, whether you won or lost.
Coach Siglarski was succeeded in 1992 by his longtime assistant, Steve Cedarchuk. And after a rough rookie season, BC looks to be back on track. Since most of us only get to see Hockey East on the ice, it's sometimes easy to forget that the players are students, but their coaches never forget. And Hockey East has always made sure academics come first.
It combines the best of both worlds. It gives you a chance to do what you want to do academically without taking you out of the classroom. At the same time, perform at the highest level of college hockey. I think we've proven that over a long period of time, so that you can be as good as you can be athletically as well. So you wouldn't have to sacrifice one or the other in order to chase one of the two dreams. And I think that the schools involved in this league have proven that they can do a good job for the student athlete, not just for the athlete.
And Jack Parker should know. As BU's head coach since 1973, he's seen it all from the most heartbreaking losses to the national championship. He's not alone in that achievement. Maine head coach Sean Walsh took over the struggling Black Bear program in 1984, and within a few short years, turned it into a national powerhouse.
Hey, Chris, IMZ Chris Ferraro. Chris, next power play, we're going to flip-flop the two-point men. So IMZ goes into you, you go right to Martin. He walks in and rips it, okay? Yeah, good job, yeah. He got it, yeah.
It all culminated in the 92-93 season when Maine steamrolled its way to the national championship, losing only one game all season long. While teams like Maine and BU and their coaches may get most of the headlines, the accomplishments of guys like Ron Anderson at Merrimack and Bruce Crowder at UMass Lowell are just as noteworthy. Both teams had to take a step up to join Hockey East, playing better teams more often. It's been a long road, but now both are winning and their futures look even brighter. With all the triumphs of Hockey East coaches, there has also been tragedy. Who could forget Bob Cullen, the well-liked UNH head coach from 1986 to 1990. In November of 90, still as the head coach, he passed away after a long battle with heart disease and was followed by current UNH coach Dick Umile.
It wasn't the greatest circumstances of getting into college coaching, but as Coach Cullen and I sometimes talk about, maybe it was all in the cards and that's what was going to happen. And I'm very fortunate that I coached with Bob Cullen. And now here I am as an alumni coaching at UNH, and I'm very fortunate to be coaching. There's a lot of guys that have played at UNH that have been college coaching, that have played in the National Hockey League. And I just happen to be the guy that's here coaching the UNH hockey program, and there's a lot of tradition here.
That enthusiasm for coaching is a big part of the league. They have worked for years to get where they are, and they appreciate it.
You know, ego-wise, it means a lot because I always wanted to be a coach. And so I started out, you know, in a prep school, a small prep school, and worked my way up and became an assistant finally and then a head coach. And my goal was to coach one of the top teams in the East. And I was very fortunate and lucky to get this job. Lou Lamorola was the old coach, and he was the AD at the time. And he hired me, and it was a great honor because a lot of people applied for this job, and it made me feel real good. And I know everywhere you go, people say, oh, you coach at Providence. It's one of the premier names in hockey. So I'm very proud of it. You know, my kids are proud of it. My family's proud of it. And it certainly makes us feel good.
Though there's a lot of personal satisfaction for the coaches, ultimately it comes down to their players. And the people who come out of Hockey East aren't just good hockey players.
I guess the thing that I really like and really want to try to do is make sure that this game really becomes a pivotal point in young men's lives for having a great time, working hard, learning to sacrifice, learning to dedicate themselves to their teammates, learning to dedicate themselves to themselves, and answering the bell night after night, being able to withstand the slings and arrows of defeat, and being able to accept victory as gentlemen. And I think that's what college hockey is about.
Every conference has a history of great games, and it's always hard to pick the best. But when people talk about the greatest games in Hockey East, there's only one place to start: Providence, March 16th, 1985. Boston College versus Providence for the first Hockey East championship. Arguably, it was one of the greatest college hockey games ever played.
Right wing corner, Neil Shea on it. Down low, Harlow fan. Harlow looking for it again. Terreri save. Army makes a nice shift. Top of the circle, head of the slot, save. Rebound, save by Gordon, off of Rooney.
Yomalakis was right in the crease, but steered it wide. Hardy trying to come out of the corner with it. Has men in front. Yomalakis circles, pokes at the puck. It's a thud go across the line. Whittam can't clear the zone. Hodge takes it away. Has a man in front, right out in front. Save Terreri.
Shot deflected wide of Terreri. Brown tries to center it, scores! Doug Brown from behind the net tried to center it, and somehow it ended up behind Chris Terreri. BC leading at 1-0. Taglianetti bounces a shot in. Gordon save. Gaudreau looking for the rebound. Rooney scores! Steve Rooney ties it up.
Whether or not it would have crossed the goal line, I don't know, but clearly a quick whistle. This puck, as you can see, is not tied up. Oh, my goodness.
Despite great up-and-down action, the game was tied at the end of regulation and at the end of overtime. As the drama mounted, Chris Terreri rose to the challenge and played the game of his life.
Oh, you've witnessed a record-setting performance tonight by Chris Terreri. Here's Campanelli carrying in, centering the shot. Saved by Terreri off of Sweeney again.
He had no idea where it went.
I remember the first year of Hockey East, I think probably is the most memorable for me, because we played Providence in the finals, and that was the year that Chris Terreri just played tremendous. And I remember distinctly Bobby Sweeney putting up his arms 3 or 4 times thinking that he had won the game, and he hadn't, because Terreri had kept the puck out of the net.
McNamara takes a hard hit from Cavallini. Doug Brown moves in. Oh! Saved by Terreri off of Kevin Stevens. Hard hit the shot. Save. And the puck is clear. Unbelievable.
And though neither team deserved to lose this game, in the end it was Providence who triumphed.
Whittam in the corner for Army. Puck comes loose for Whittam. Back for Army. Army for Rooney. Scores! Providence wins Hockey East.
While the '85 final may be about impossible to top, the 1988 championship game between Maine and Northeastern ranks right up there.
Line down, walking it. It's deflected, bouncing puck, and a goal! Rico Rossi, 34 seconds in. This line red hot, and Northeastern has a 1-0 lead.
Jack Capuano across to Mike McHugh, trying to go around down. McHugh into the circle.
Goal! Mike McHugh put it through Bruce Racine, and Maine is on the board. It's 2-1.
Perron tried to feed Godotti. Godotti picks it up in the circle.
Vince Godotti makes it 3-2 Maine.
Down by a goal in the third period, the Huskies refused to quit.
Sure across the line. He got dumped by Weinrich. He sent it in behind King. King had it blocked by Bavona. Bavona
Joe McGinnis. Joe McGinnis with the steal and the goal. His second, and it's tied at 3.
Dave Nonis goes around Rouse.
Centers one. What a stop by Racine on Stanika. He flashed out the right arm as he was moving to his left, and perhaps saved the game for NU.
And with the clock winding down, a little-known defenseman by the name of Marty Rouse, playing only because one of the starters was out with the flu, made his place in Hockey East history.
3:10 to play. Rouse weaving in. Score! Seconds left. One last rush perhaps. Dove banks it back to center ice. Northeastern wins the Hockey East championship.
There just seems to be something special about the Hockey East playoffs. The string of great games continued in the '89 playoffs, where all 6 games were decided by 1 goal. 2 games in particular stand out. In the semis, BC faced Providence in a rematch worthy of the '85 championship. The action seesawed back and forth into a second overtime, neither team willing to give an inch until BC evened the score from 1985.
Still tied at 5. Sweeney to Hines. Hines with open ice. Steve Hines in again. Hines score!
As if that wasn't enough, the other '89 semifinal was one to remember as well. It pitted Maine against Northeastern in a rematch of the '88 Championship Classic. Once again, incredible goaltending and non-stop action combined to provide another overtime thriller.
And it's a steal by Rossi. Score! Rico Rossi ties it at 2 with 1:38 left. Steal by Muse. Muse stopped by King and the rebound knocked away. Muse walked right in and had a chance perhaps to win it for Northeastern in the final minute.
But this time, Maine would not be denied. Like Northeastern's Marty Rouse the previous year, a seldom used reserve player would be the hero.
Miller plays it to Beers. 30 seconds left in the first overtime session. Bob Beers with some open ice. Beers moves in. What a shift. Beers, goal! Maine wins it. Luke Vitale set up on a great play by Bob Beers.
The 1990 semifinal battle between UNH and Boston College would prove to be one of the greatest comebacks in Hockey East history. Down 4-2 to the Wildcats late in the third period, the Eagles showed they had plenty of fight left.
Here comes the Hines-Emma group onto the ice. Hines shovels it out in front. Emma score! Power play goal by David Emma. And with 1:46 to go, it's 4-3. Brown sends it in. LeGrand's out. Extra man on for Boston College. An empty net to shoot after New Hampshire. Score! Ted Crowley through a screen with 48 seconds left.
And in sudden death overtime, BC completed the comeback in style.
This shot blocked by Grassi. Barron the follow-up. Rebound. Stopped by Sturm. Score! Bill Guerin sends BC to the final.
In the '91 Hockey East final, it was Maine again, this time facing the BU Terriers. Once again, the 2 top teams found themselves too evenly matched for things to be decided in regulation. And once again, the Hockey East champion would be crowned in dramatic fashion.
Von Stefanelli back at center. Roy tried to get it away. Von Stefanelli stick handling. Off now for Amani. Here's McEachron. McEachron cutting in. Sean McEachron scores! And the team that owns the Garden has done it again. BU wins the Hockey East Championship. Sean McEachron overtime goal at 2 minutes and 19 seconds.
These games barely scratch the surface of the fierce competition that takes place each week in Hockey East, including some of which you may have seen just this year.
For Campbell for Bullock. Bullock working here against Taylor. Off for Basin. Basin on the way. They score! Ian Hebert scores in overtime. Took the pass from Basin. to center, crossing the red line. Scored! Hodge from center ice! Into the corner now for Guzio. Gould trying to get it. Quenneville! He scored! Quenneville ties the hockey game. 7 seconds remaining.
McCarthy's pass to Joyce, intercepted by Boganicki. Boganicki, hook checked away by Ash. Good play by the BC defenseman. Here's Murray. UNH defenseman centering to Boganicki. He scores! Eric Boganicki wins it in overtime. Double overtime for UNH. 6-5. The goal coming at 10:28 of the second overtime period. And the Wildcats are headed for Boston Garden. The 93-94 season saw BU win their first regular season championship and their third Lamorello Cup. The Terriers' 34-win season set the BU standard. But it was UMass Lowell that swept the Hockey East Awards. Head coach Bruce Crowder led the Chiefs to a 25-10-5 record, earning him Coach of the Year honors. The Chiefs' Iron Man in nets, Dwayne Rollison, was named Player of the Year, and freshman sensation Greg Bullock earned Hockey East Rookie of the Year honors. In addition, the Len Siglarski Sportsmanship Award went to BC's Mike Spalla, while Merrimack's Quentin Fondele was named the top scholar athlete with a 3.8 grade point average, an honor he won for 3 years straight. 4 Hockey East teams took part in the NCAA tournament: BU, UMass Lowell, New Hampshire, and Northeastern. For 6 of the last 7 years, Hockey East has had at least one team in the Final Four. The ultimate goal for any college hockey team is winning the national title, and Jack Parker's Terriers have had the opportunity twice in the last 4 years, the latter being last year, where they took second place to the champion Lake Superior State Lakers. All in all, it was a very good year. The past 10 years have seen Hockey East mature into the premier league in all of college hockey. Great players, crafty coaches, intense rivalries, and a commitment to developing true student athletes have become hallmarks of Hockey East. Plus, it's also been a lot of fun. Perhaps the biggest change over the last 10 years is parity. The emergence of UMass Lowell and UNH this past season, a perfect example. No longer will 2 or 3 teams dominate.
It's growing in leaps and bounds, and hopefully it continues to do so. The rivalry has been tremendous. Maine has been on top, but now you see BU coming back, and BC is starting to get some players now, and they're starting to do better. And it's a very competitive league. On a given night, anybody could win. Whereas way back at the beginning, there was only those 30 teams that were always winning, but now it's very competitive. And the hockey is tremendous to watch, really.
The greater depth of talent in Hockey East is what helps make it special. And that talent pool will only increase as the league gets bigger. The addition of UMass Amherst to Hockey East this year fills out the league to 9 competitors and hints at the possibility of more growth in the future.
I think expansion is going to be something that will be the rule of the day in all the leagues. It appears as if the WCHA and the Central League are thinking about a merger. I think that maybe the addition of UMass in our league, and maybe the fact that the 2 Eastern leagues look at the 2 Western leagues, that's not a bad way to go. Maybe there'll be some type of revolving scheduling situation with the ECAC, who knows. But I do think that the fact that we're adding another team, that we're expanding a little bit, will help us in our scheduling, will help us so that we don't play each other as many times as we have.
While you can expect a lot of things to change over the next 10 years of Hockey East, you can count on some things to remain the same.
Woodman. Now here comes Greer. Greer for BU. Off Pandolfo. Back into Greer. Scores! Pandolfo to Greer. Greer wraps it home. And BU takes the lead 4-3. Now this building is a rocket.
And that's what Hockey East is all about.